YouTubers, it's me, Morgan Tracy J, coming today with a Women's Wednesday chat. This Women's Wednesday, I want to talk to you about a question I've recently been getting, and this question was, how do you not get impatient during your waiting season? I got this question 2 times in the last week, and so I know that I need to answer this question. But first off, you said the question was, how do you, including talking to me, how do I not get impatient during my waiting season? First off, what waiting season means is you're a single person waiting to get married, okay? You're in your single season and you're wondering, where's my husband? When do I get to live that life? When do I get the white picket fence and all that? That's what you're wondering, okay? First off, let's just pump the brakes though, sweetheart. Why are you waiting? It's not a waiting season. It's a living season. It's a doing season. It's a transformational season. It's a rejuvenating season. It's finding yourself season. It's building your passions and your desires and building the empire God has called you to create. It's getting into your calling and getting equipped in new ways. It's called the deliverance season. It's actually not waiting. You're not waiting on anyone, but if you're to ever waiting on anyone in this life, make sure you're waiting on God. Make sure you're waiting on God's direction, God's revelation, God's guidance. Don't wait on a man, because watch, if you're not careful, you're going to look up and days are going to be passing you by and you're only living in your head. You say, I can only be happy when I get into a courtship. I can only be happy when I get married. I can only be happy when I'm a mother. I can only be sexy if I'm in a relationship. What I want to tell you today, ladies, is stop waiting and start living. If you feel like you're waiting on your husband to come and save you on his high horse, ma'am, you got this thing all wrong. Because what I want to tell you today is when God has called us into the season, it's because he's preparing us. He's equipping us. He's transforming us. And if we're not careful, we're going to look up and our husbands are going to be in our face and we're going to say, I waited on you, and God wanted us to have a lot more to say. He wanted us to go to him and say, I've accomplished so much. I've been prepared for you. I've been equipped for you. I've been developed for you. That now that me and you can be one, before we were even one, we was already one, because I've been working with God so I could be the woman for you. Guess what, ladies? Our waiting season is our preparation season. This is when we get built up in God. This is when our minds are transformed. So what I want to tell you, if you're sitting on your bed and you're saying, but how do I get there? I just feel like every day I'm thinking about my future husband and when I can be happy, and I don't know, I'm stagnant, I'm in the mundane. What I want to tell you is, first off, get back to your foundation of God. Because if you can only be happy with a husband in your mind, watch, you're going to take that same depressed, nervous, lonely, whatever girl into that marriage. So this season is specifically for you, because God needs you to learn new things and get to new understanding and get to new deliverance. Because guess what? We don't have it all together. We don't have it all together. And now that we're single, God gets to work on us and we get this uninterrupted devotion with God. We get to open up our hearts to God. We can remove our stones in our hearts and allow God to give us a new heart, give us a heart of love, give us a heart of compassion. And guess what? When you get ready to go into those steps, you'll know it. But right now, if you're in a season of waiting, as a lot of people call it, I don't call it the waiting season, but if you're in that season, then make sure you're doing something. Because what I want to tell you is, it's a freaking lie to think that you can only be fulfilled if you're a wife or a mother, or if you're something like that. No, sweetie, you can be fulfilled today. The true fulfillment only comes from God. Now, it's great to have those desires. Trust me, a lot of us do. And with that being said, it's good to have them, but make sure you don't get fixated and make sure that doesn't become your idol. Okay? Make sure you can truly lean on God. Make sure that when you're in your season of waiting, if that's how you call it, make sure you're doing the things God has called you to do. If it's just to build your faith with God, if it's to help a youth shelter, if it's to build that thing that God told you to build, get focused on the things that God has called you, because before you realize it, you won't even want it. You won't even be focusing on that future thing. You'll be focusing on now, because you'll look up and you'll realize you're living finally. And you haven't been. You've been living in your mind. You've been living in your thoughts. You've been living in that one day this is going to come together. But just live in today and acknowledge the task that you got to complete today. What do you need to complete today? What has God called you to attack today? What has God told you to do today? And when you focus on the things you got to do today, you won't get caught living in your head and living in a daydream while you let today just pass you by, okay? I know about that, guys. I've been there. I know about feeling like you can't do certain things until you're married, okay? But what I want to tell you today is, stop waiting and start doing. Start doing whatever it is on your heart to do. If it's just to go to a dance class once a week, if it's to just go on hikes, whatever it is, just start doing it. If it's just to pray, have morning devotional with God, if it's just to get into the Word in the evening time, if it's to cook more dinner, like better dinners, whatever, like literally try it all. I swear I have so many things that I do. I want to cook on this day, I want to do this. Like, just try it all. You have some liberty here. You got the freedom. Experience the freedom of God. Well, we talk about this God that gives us liberty, but how have we truly experienced it? And if you are in a season of singleness, embrace it. There are things you've got to learn. There are lessons that are specifically in this season for you. There are things that you're going to gain in this season. There are things you're going to lose in this season. There are things that you're going to be awakened in this season too. And so guess what? Start to learn yourself and watch that you will no longer be waiting, but you will be doing. All right. I love you, ladies, and I will see you in my next Women's Wednesday chat. Love you guys. Bye.